Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to really heal a relationship and basically treat it based on your attachment styles. If you are both fearful avoidant, but if you're in the space where you polarize each other into a more anxious and dismissive side. So this is based on one of the questions I have from one of our members inside of Personal Development School. And I will basically take you through some different dynamics and things that are going to probably show up between two FAs that you should be aware of, and then some really important dynamics you can utilize to make sure that this relationship can be reprogrammed, can be shifted, can be moved through, especially as you go through the life cycle of a relationship and you're trying to navigate things like the power struggle phase. So before I dive into all of this, please know that we are still doing our With You promotion. We're going to do this as long as things are kind of chaotic in the world right now. You can check out the link in the description box below. The coupon code is With You, all one word, and it's for 25% off 3, 6, or 12-month membership bundles, which basically gives you access to our 40 courses with the 15 to 25-page workbooks per course. We also have in there 4 live webinars I do every single week with our members. And then we also have on top of that morning and evening routines, group social events every week, mastermind groups, breakout sessions where people can have video and face-to-face interaction with each other and really connect in a community way. So check it out. We have a 7-day money back guarantee as well if you're not like super happy with everything when you go in, or if you're like, this isn't for me. So that is there, that is offered. You can check it out. I'll put a link in the description box below. So this was a question. And basically, this person said, my ex and I are both fearful avoidant. I lean AA, and this person who's the ex leans dismissive. And I'm trying to sort of understand the patterns in terms of being like fully AA and one person being DA. How should I basically deal with this dynamic? So, first and foremost, it's really important to know that two fearful avoidants in a relationship together will often polarize one another to opposing ends of the attachment continuum. So, if you have a fearful avoidant leaning anxious, that person's going to be more in their anxious side. If you have a fearful avoidant leaning dismissive, that person's going to be more in their dismissive side. However, it won't stay that way. It'll be fluid, and there will be times in your relationship where if you are leading AA, but then maybe you're really busy, or you have like a new project at work or a new thing that you're doing, or you're spending time with family and friends, it is very possible that you can go into sort of your dismissive side, and the other person can actually be polarized into anxious. So the interesting thing about two FAs together is they tend to kind of like push and pull each other and polarize each other back and forth. But if one person naturally has a strong anxious side and the other person a strong dismissive side, obviously you're going to be rooted more in FA leaning AA, FA leaning DA the majority of the time. But just please keep in mind that it can shift sort of at a moment's notice, because both attachment styles have the capacity or ability to have, both the anxious and avoidant side to them. So these are really important first parts to be aware of. Now, how would you manage the situation? Well, you would still manage the situation and do the reprogramming work as if you were the fearful avoidant. So the reason for this is that fearful avoidants have a different like operating system than a dismissive or an anxious preoccupied. And yes, they carry both of the core wounds, and you might be more rooted in your anxious side, like you may be feeling it a lot, but just work on the anxious preoccupied wounds first associated with fearful avoidant attachment style. So fearful avoidants, for example, have all the core wounds of both sides, basically, plus some of their own. I will be abandoned. I will be alone. I'm not good enough. I will be disliked. I am unworthy. And then the avoidance side, which is like, I will be unsafe, trapped, helpless, powerless. Something's wrong with me, or I am defective. And so these are all these like core common imprints that each of these attachment style individuals experience, but most so the fearful avoidant experiences strong trust issues. And these come with the core wounds: I will be betrayed and I am unsafe. And so what's really important as you're going through this whole dynamic is that you treat all of those core wounds and you really do the reprogramming first on those major ones. And we have a course in the school called Repairing Broken Trust and Overcoming Jealousy. And a big focus of that course is repairing our internal trust baseline if we feel that it's been fragmented from past traumas or experiences. And you have to imagine, like, if somebody grows up in a world and their caregivers aren't trustworthy, well, what do we feel like going into our adult life? We feel like, well, geez, if I can't trust my caregivers, how am I going to trust anybody? And so, we project our relationship from our caregivers out onto our external world. And of course, that plays into our adult romantic relationships. So when you have two FAs together, we want to do the core wound reprogramming, which I have some other videos on this channel about reprogramming and some different options. And then we really also want to be so good at speaking up about our needs, setting our boundaries, taking ourselves into consideration as we make choices and decisions. Because what we're doing in doing that is we're learning to retrust ourselves. We have this shadow side, if you're a fearful avoidant, that says, oh, I can't trust other people. But if we look even closer, the pain around trusting other people also reflects the lack of trust we have in the relationship to ourselves, not because we don't think we can do things or handle things, but because fearful avoidance will go, oh, my needs don't matter. Oh, I'm going to put everybody else first. Oh, I'm going to be a little bit codependent and put everybody before me. And every single time we do that and don't take ourselves into consideration and don't treat ourselves equally to other people, it's a violation of our own trust in the relationship to ourselves. So a big part of like really healing that trust is learning to heal it in ourselves first, and then learning to express ourselves, our boundaries, our needs, and show up for ourselves. So we feel that not only can other people see and understand us, which means they're likely to make better decisions on behalf of us because they do know us, they know what our wounds are, our vulnerabilities are, our fears are, and they can take us into consideration, which is a large part of what trust is all about. But on top of that, we are showing up in the relationship to ourselves. So it becomes sort of a two-way street. So between those core wounds, checking in with your needs, having a stronger sense of self-identity, doing the reprogramming work, all of those things will be very, very important things to tackle when you have two fearful avoidants together. And it's really important to keep in mind too, fearful avoidants are still hypervigilant, and we have to be able to drop the mind reading, because sometimes FAs are so good at it, and introduce the deep communication, the vulnerability, the openness, the connection, so that we don't get lost in telling stories because we're always trying to read between the lines, which is a huge pattern that often comes up in the double FA dynamic. So I hope this all makes sense. Let me know your comments, your questions, your relationship challenges. If you are a fearful avoidant and are in a relationship with another fearful avoidant, I would love to hear about them. Leave them in the comments below. Thank you for being here and for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.